Hey, John here again. So if you've recently bought a vehicle in the past, whatever, 10 years, you know they're wicked expensive. This vehicle is a 2017. Here it is 2020, but this vehicle, brand new, would retail for $47,000, and that'd be okay if it lasted 30, 40 years, but they're not going to last that long if you live in a salt belt. And they're going to rust out way before you even have mechanical problems or anything like that. Engine, probably, back in the day you used to have to worry about that. Today, you don't. It's the rust. This thing's going to be rusted inside 4 or 5 years from now. I've got a friend that has a 2016 truck that cost him a lot of money, and it's already got that surface bubbling rust thing going on, which is unbelievable. If you can't, if you're paying 50 grand for a car and it's going to be rusted in 4 years, that's just insane. So there's a way to treat your car. There's companies out there that will treat it for you, and somehow they have a guarantee. If you bring it there every year, I don't know what they're guaranteeing. I don't think they're going to buy another vehicle if it does rust, but there's a cheap way to do this to maintain your vehicle that'll last for, and I say it's a guarantee because I have a couple of vehicles that were treated and they're really old and they don't have any rust on them. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Hold on a second. So this vehicle is a 2002 GMC Sierra, and it has been treated, and it has no rust on the body whatsoever. And the body itself is in immaculate, well, it's dirty now, but in immaculate condition. And of course, you go underneath here, and that's where all the problems lie. The frame's rusted, and there's, I'm going to treat that vehicle over there, the body and the frame, but this frame was never, that frame and the components and everything, I don't know if you can see in there, was never treated. So it, actually is getting pretty bad nowadays. It's not rotted through or falling apart yet, but compared to the outside, it is an issue. And I have some other vehicles. Let me go up front and show you the front garage. I got a car in there that's been, well, even this car's never been treated, but this vehicle lived most of its life in Virginia Beach, where there's not a salt belt. And again, this is dirty, but it's been here for the last 10 years, and there is rust. There's some rust forming, and it was never treated. There's some bubble rust there. Now, this is a 1997, so this car, it really, most of these are in a crusher by now. Same thing with that truck. So today I'm just going to do the body panels, the doors, basically all the sheet metal, and what I'm going to use is just basic transmission fluid, cheap stuff. This is from O'Reilly's, but go to Walmart, pick yourself up a whatever 15-gallon jug of transmission fluid, because this stuff is going to work good in like pinch welds. It seeps in, and it will definitely protect. Now, see, let me show you exactly what let me show you the apparatus I'm going to apply it with first. Now, if you've got compressed air, I think this would be a way to go. Just to get one of the, and I found this on Amazon. It was dirt cheap, but it comes with this nozzle that I was looking for that sprays in an omnidirectional, like a 3 ways. And if you don't have one, a way to administer it by compressed air, there's another avenue you can go. Hold on a second. Worst case scenario, you can fill this up, and how these have the fan spray or the stream. And you can use this. This makes obviously more of a mess, but today I'm going to use that guy. I'm going to hook it up to the compressor and show you how easy this is. And again, if you're going to do it, do it somewhere, because this is going to leak for a while, and everything's going to drip, and it's transmission fluid, so you don't want it on your nice cement driveway or tar driveway. And then let me get set up here. Hold on a second. Alright, everything's set up. I put this regulator on there because it came with it, but if you have a compressor, you're probably going to have a regulator anyway, but now I can control it at the handle here to get whatever pressure I need. And it's going to be so minuscule, the pressure, because it's just transmission fluid. But so I just put this hose on there with a 2-in-1. This is a reducer on the end here, just so I can get this piece into small little tiny holes. And again, I'll go over there and show you in the car, but I also wanted a way to clip this original hose on. Just take that rubber plug off, so if there's a bigger hole, I can shove this banana in here, and we'll do it that way. So let me run an air hose out there and start getting it tunnel. Actually, let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go around and find these little holes. So on the door bottoms here, those weep holes are always there to let water out or whatever. But you can see there's some under here. Actually, that's What am I looking at here? Sun's shining bright. That's plastic material, so I'm not going to worry about that. But this metal here, I'm going to see, I don't know if I can fit the big one in there or not, but I'm going to feed it in here both ways, you know, and just pump her up with some transmission fluid. Again, it's going to leak out everywhere. Just kind of leave it open and let it do its thing. And then places like, okay, so I'll go around and look for, like, this is a rubber piece probably for the door lock or something. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like you can get to a screw there, but I'm going to look for all these little access holes and just drop my hose in here and just basically oil everything I can that I could see that has a, I don't know, what is that, a hole. Let's see if there's any over here. Yeah, there is. See these little access plugs? If you take them off, they're there for a reason to get to, probably had to take this fender off or something, because I see one here, one there. There's one in there. So I'm just going to take all them plugs off and just fill this, not fill it, I mean, you know, spray everything. But if you don't have plugs, I guess you can elect to, well, you can actually take a bolt off. If there was no plugs here, I would take this bolt off because it's probably got a welded jam nut that you could pass the hose through and do it that way. But I guess in worst case scenario, you can drill your own hole, but then you'd have to treat, you know, where you just drill the hole, whether it's paint or grease or something, or a rubber plug or whatever you gotta do. But even so over here, like, you could probably take this off, or maybe one of these bolts to get anything, and it doesn't look like there's any, well, actually there is one, there's a plug here, so I'll probably, you know, send the tube up that way, just let it drip down, and I'll, you know, so I'll go through all this, and just every hole I can think of. Now, I'm not really going to worry about the top, obviously, because anytime you see rust in a car in New England, it's always on the bottom. So if you're from Florida, they rust from the top down, from the sun and salt air. So I'm not going to be treating the hood or anything, just basically the bottom of this car. Anything I can get, you know, access to. Let's see what we got back here. Like I said, I'll just go around. This one I might take off this and just slide it in here and let it go down, because I'll have enough tube, because I don't see any rubber plugs on this side. Again, I might use this as an access hole. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but and then I'll just go around. I'll open a hood in a second and let me see if I can see if there's any rubber plugs here, because otherwise I might have to take a, hold on a second, I don't have my key. So back here, I'll probably, oh, that's plenty, well, those aren't rubber plugs, but we'll see. There's probably a bolt behind there I can get to. Is it rubber? That is not, it's plastic. So, you know, I'll get an access point somewhere, but worst case scenario, like I said, even if I have to take this tail light off and get my apparatus in here, this is probably plastic, I don't worry about that, but, you know, when you take a tail light, there's cavities, open cavities, so I'll send it in that way. I'll basically do everything I can to oil every orifice I can that's going to have gravity drip. And again, I'm not worried about any of this plastic crap, but anything metal that I can get to. See, this is plastic, that's metal, so I might have to take this tail light out, but it looks like it's just these two plastic things. This piece comes off, and I could probably take this tail light easy enough out. I'll even open up the gas. Actually, yeah, that could go. Well, that's going to be more problematic. I'm not going to probably mess with that. Oh, I didn't even know that was a capless system. Again, this is my wife's car, so... Anyways, that's where I'm at. So, that's the plan. I'm going to attack first with transmission fluid, which is over there. Fill that little canister up, right? Just start spraying, and I'll put this on a tripod to show what I'm doing, and then probably tomorrow or something, I'll attack the frame and the components underneath with the fluid film. The fluid film is a better product in my opinion, because it's just thicker and it wants to stick to stuff. Actually, let me show you. I did this probably 3-4 months ago. Just a couple of bolts under the hood here was starting to form that rusty top on the bolt here. Where was it? I think on the shock towers I hit them. Yeah, on the there was, oh yeah, here. On this horn. This horn, but the bolt here was rusted, or something was rusted. That's not rusted, but must be this. But I attacked that a few months back, and look at it. Still, look at that stuff. That stuff is great stuff. That fluid film. So that'll never rust there. And I just leave that stuff, and again, I think I hit a couple of, yeah, even that's starting to rust, the shock, top of the shock mount, but that's all got that fluid film on there, so that stuff sticks around. But even in here, I could take the headlight assembly out if it was easy enough, but again, I'm going to start looking around for, you probably can't see them down there, but there's holes in there. I need to get into the fender well. I'll actually put it down here too. This is metal. Anywhere there's metal to shove my thing in, that's that. You know, I'll just put the hose down there and fill. Again, I keep saying fill it up. Just start spraying around, you know, and anything metal. And under the hood here, especially with fluid film or training, you know, you don't want to get an exhaust or nothing, but I'll just go around and look. Anything I could spray that's metal, I will, other than a aluminum component or something like that. But anything steel, I'm just going to go to town in here and make a complete giant mess. Who cares? It's on dirt or gravel or whatever. So that's the plan. Let me get set up again. This thing in, and it was a total bust. This thing works only with the original hose. This bigger hose, you know, because I hooked this mechanism up, and reducing it to this size, the cam basically exploded. I mean, those little rivets there kind of got stretched out, so that's not going to work, so that's a total waste of money. I mean, it works this way, you know, and I'm okay with that, but to force it through the little tube, not happening. Came out through this little hole, and like I said, this lid busted off. I had to bend the tabs back down, but no way I can use the pressure, no matter how low I went with it. So that's a bust. So I got the old manual feller out, and this works actually pretty good. So if you got one of these that you could take the cap off, unscrew the cap, and put that on there, this will work just as good. I don't want to get wet here, but I like the way this comes out of here. I can't see what I'm looking at now. So just give it a, oh, I almost hit the camera. It comes out pretty decent. So we're just going to have to do it the manual way, but that's where I'm at. Can't use the old air and better spray mechanism, but either way, we're going to oil this thing. So let me get my tripod. Again, this does make a mess, so, and every vehicle is going to be different, obviously, but so I'm just going to start and feed this little tube in to the bolt hole and kind of just, you know, give it a few squirts. It's going to leak out somewhere eventually. Hopefully not on the inside. So I'll just go around with all these little holes I got created and let that gravity drip. There's another hole here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. No, probably not. So everywhere I got a hole, I'm just going to squirt this stuff into. I just took the little caps off here. There actually was a little hole. So again, I just kind of feed it around. It would have been a little bit better with air pressure, where I can just, instead of squeezing, pumping, just kind of direct it around, but this is going to work just as fine. Let me show you that squirt again. I'll point it over there. So this squirt is just going to be just fine. I like this tip because it's, probably won't see that, but yeah, you can see that. So it's going to get everywhere. Whoops, I think I just made it in the inside of the car. So let me go around. Even this here, I took out a bump stop up on the tailgate, right up here, and I'll lower this tailgate a little bit because I want to get down in here on the you know, metal, because these tailgates, I don't know about these, but you know, you've seen rusted tailgates. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around. And I like this little guy because it may not fit in there. Well, it does, but it won't. Well, I guess it will. So it's going to leak out here, and that's what the doors are open. I'm just going to let everything drip. See how it's going to drip now? And I'll just hit every hole. Just keep squirting around. Go in every hole, and this vehicle will not rust. You might have a little bit of residual stuff, but it's better than 4 years later having a car that's rusted out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around with my little manual squirt bottle, and oh, look at there. I don't know if you can see that, and that's fine. I mean, there's a lot coming out of there, but that's what I'm doing on this driveway. So I'll just keep going around and squirting everything. We'll let it drip out, and we're good to go. Alright, so I've been going around, did the engine, did all the doors, did everywhere I could think of, and this is where I took the bump stop off. So basically I'm just finishing up, and it's leaking everywhere, but that's cool. So I'll just feed this in the whole way. The other side I did the same thing. Get it as far across as I can. Then just start pumping her. Doesn't take much, and this thing sprays pretty much everywhere. You just draw it out, and she'll start leaking out somewhere. And unlike brake fluid, transmission fluid is not going to affect anything electronic or wire-wise or paint-wise, obviously. And that's it. And I just kind of, now as soon as this is all done dripping, it starts coming out in weird spots, but like a little over the tire, but yeah, it's actually dry in there. But every weep hole, just kind of fill it up, and so about to spray the underneath with fluid film, and as you can see, this car's 2-3 years old. It's a 2017, and it's already starting to rust. Look at this crap. This is just unbelievable. So it should have been done before this, but this will prevent it from going any further. But anyways, I'm just going to go around and spray everything that's sprayable, even like that little hole there for put that wand in there wherever it's going to fit, and just go to town. It's going to make a mess, but I'll have to clean it up later, because I definitely need to spray this. I mean, you're going to get a little on exhaust, but look at that up there. Oh well, that's what it is. So let me get, so what I did, I put it in this gun, the fluid film, the gallon stuff over there. So we'll see how this works. Alright, so using that thing without the spray nozzle actually works pretty good without it. Does a nice big fat fan. It fans it out pretty good, so I just went around and sprayed everything. And again, if you get a little on the exhaust like I did, a little bit here and there, it'll burn off. But so I'm just going around doing my thing here, and then I'm going to take the, as you can see up there, I got it the best I could there, but I'm going to take that little tiny hose, right? If you can see up there some of these plugs, I'm going to take some of them plugs out. I gotta just shut that off. Yeah, I'm going to take some of them plugs out and use the spray can, the spray cans over there, with that little nozzle, and I'll get into these little crevices here and there, but turn the car around, get the front end. So for right now, the rear end is basically done. Like I said, I'll go in the little crevices and get that. So I'll probably do this once a quarter with the underneath stuff, or I'll actually have to check it, see if it's still wet under here in maybe a month or two, see how things are going. Yeah, so originally I thought it was going to make a mess and get all over the place. This is a cement floor, but I've got like speedy dry all over the place, but nothing's dripping down, so that's cool. So this is going to be easy peasy stuff. It's better than crawling on the ground for sure. So underneath, this is not the Acadia. Acadia's not here right now. This is about a month later. This is a Subaru that I did same weekend, and it's still wet and applicable in most cases. This car did about 1,000 miles since, and it's wet enough. There are some dry spots. I do remember going to town on this, but that stuff works pretty good. But again, it was raining out a couple of days. There's been actually some snow that I went over to Berkshire's with, so stuff holds up pretty good. I'm just wrapping this video up. I just wanted to show you that, loading that, the transmission fluid in the doors and the weep holes are going to obviously last longer than something you would spray. You can even spray transmission fluid under here, but it's not going to hold up as long as, being in the door wells where the weather's not going to get to it, because I remember this was all wet, and now it's not. But again, it's a month later, but there are some parts that are still wet and tacky, and so I'm okay with that. And I realize having a pit makes things life a little easier when it comes to spraying underneath here. But even if you have a cheap set of ramps, whether plastic or metal ramps, that you can pull your vehicle up to, or even like a Subaru like this, you can get under there, crawl under there, I guess. But just you know, being in a gravel driveway or even your grass or lawn and using, now this is just the regular spray can without the, so even if you don't have a spray apparatus, getting into all these, you know, spots, it's going to be even easier with this, even spraying, again, like, I can't see because it's no light, but I'm not going to do this, you know, every week or every month. I'll probably just do it once and this is a 2010, mind you, and it's never been treated until like a month or two ago, whenever I did it, and it did have some rust. You can see if you look close, that is rust forming, but again, it's a 2010. It's a 10-year-old car. I should have done this from the get-go, but I didn't, and that GMC red truck was done years ago, but even that wasn't done from, you know, when it was new. So I'm just gonna, while I'm under here, just go ahead and spray some of the components. But that's all I got. I just wanted to follow up on, you know, how this stuff works out or lasts. If you treat this regularly, maybe every oil change, or even if you want to do it, you know, more frequent than that, I'm telling you, your car's not going to rust. Now, the stuff that you put in, the transmission fluid that I put into the weep holes in the doors, that's going to last a hell of a lot longer than you know, it would underneath the car like this, because that stuff there, you know, even my GMC truck that hasn't been done in a long time, it has remnants, you know, it's still wet inside the weep hole, so that probably can be done every year, you know, or every couple of years, because that transmission fluid in the door wells is not going anywhere. It has nowhere to go, actually. It's just trapped in there. So, but it's doing its job. It won't allow water or rust or water to, you know, invade and start rusting. But anyways, that's all I got for. Thanks for watching. I just wanted to a month later show you that the stuff stays pretty pliable. Not, you know, as much as you would like it, but you do have to get at least the underneath. You have to treat that more often. But again, to crawl into your vehicle and do that with a can of, you know, $8 can of fluid film is going to save you, in the long run, a lot of loot. Anyways, thanks for watching.